Hello. We're telling your followers. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my backyard. The sun just started getting in my face, but I thought it would be really nice for everyone to kind of be outside with me since it's beautiful in Oregon, and as we're all quarantined, we can at least sit here and be outside a little bit. I'm Katie Santora. I'm the winemaker for Chehalem Winery, and this is my first ever live Instagram, which feels really strange because it's like I'm talking to myself, but I get to see all you amazing people that are watching and joining. So thanks so much for being here. What are you guys doing at home? What Christian and I and Miles are doing is kind of drinking through our cellar, and so this is really fun to be able to sit here and taste through some of the wines that were in the recent club shipment that we shipped out in March. So if you don't have these wines with you today, you can definitely order them online through our website or Instagram, and for the next 48 hours we have about this bundle that we'll be tasting. Hi everybody, this is so fun. Before we get started, April is Earth Month, so I guess that's also fitting that I'm outside tasting. And at Chehalem, we have these cool neckers that we're putting on some of our bottles out and about in the world. And if you find one of these neckers and you plant it, wildflowers will grow. But then if you plant it and share it on Instagram or any social media post, we actually will plant a tree for you. So that's pretty amazing that we'll plant a tree. Trees are awesome. So yeah, let's start tasting some wine, and I'll try and figure out how to get the sun out of my face a little bit. We are going to start with the 2019 Rosé. So the 2019 Rosé. Will Miles make an appearance? Yeah, at the end, if we want Miles to make an appearance, we can we can put him on as well. So Chehalem's Rosé. We intentionally make rosé at Chehalem, which it starts in the vineyard. We grow the grapes at Corral Creek Vineyard, one of our estate vineyards, and we do it in a way where we do a special training called the Scott Henry training, which is a double cane. So usually, let's see if I can do this with my hands over this, but usually there is a trunk and two canes that are across for a normal vine. And for our rosé in this vineyard, it's vigorous enough that we were able to do 4 canes. So the trunk, and then there's 4 canes that come up. Then there's a curtain that goes up and a curtain that goes down. And on both of those curtains, there are fruit, basically a line of fruit on both of them. So it doubles the production we can get out of the vine, but also that's kind of what we want for rosé. We're not looking for a lot of concentration. We're looking for some delicate aromatics, some more acid retention. Then when we bring it into the winery, we again make it intentionally. So we put it directly whole cluster into press. And for the majority of the lots that come in, we have a 3-ton press. We will press them. And then on 1 or 2 of the lots, we actually will put it in the press and let it sit overnight so we can extract a little bit of the color. So when you press Pinot Noir grapes right away, for the majority, you'll get a white juice that comes out. And especially through fermentation, that white juice will fall, or if there's any color in it, it will fall out a little bit. But when you leave it in the press overnight, it can get a little bit more color. So even when the color falls out through fermentation, it still leaves a nice delicate color. So that is why and how we get this really nice light rosé. That's my neighbor. Hi, Serena.
So good.
I'm doing a live Instagram, so I'm sorry if...
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's my neighbor. Hi, Hawaii. So let's taste it and we can talk about it. I personally love rosés. They're my favorite go-to drink when I'm out at a restaurant, when I just want to relax in the sun, this is a perfect day to be able to drink a glass of rosé. What I get from this is a lot of delicate aromatics, especially in the 2019 vintage. What is my favorite vintage of the rosé? That's a great question. It definitely changes. When I'm drinking the 2018, I love it. And speaking of out in the market right now, you guys are probably, if you have it, you have the 2018, which is still delicious. And right now I'm loving the 2019 because it's new and it's exciting for me to see how the 2019 vintage is actually showcasing to everyone and to myself. It was a pretty difficult vintage in Oregon, and so a lot of the wines are a lot more nuanced and pretty, and so it's fun to see them in the bottle and what actually they're showcasing. So the 2019 vintage is really delicate, grapefruit, watermelon, a little bit of floral, and then on the palate it has really nice acid retention, but the alcohol is a lot lower than in years past. Because the vintage was a little bit cooler, the year was warm, but the fall ended up becoming pretty cool really quickly. And so because of that, we picked a little earlier, which means less sugar, which means sorry, I'm trying to read your guys' messages at the same time. Less sugar that comes in on the grapes, which means lower alcohol in the end after fermentation. So this is, I think it has more of a Provence style, really light, pretty. I love it. Do you guys, yes, you will need to order some, Kelsey. Next time. While we're on the rosé, do you guys have any questions? Or I'll take a second just to read and see if that's awesome. I just had Wynn's rosé this week as well. It was delicious and very different, so I think that'll be a great tasting. Russian wine nut. Let me see. The rosé is not sweet. It's a dry rosé. We leave just a touch of residual sugar, but just to balance out the acid. So sometimes when I get a little bit nervous when I say that to people, because they think then it's just sweet, but it's actually not. Sometimes wines have a lot of acid in them, and so if you can balance it out with just a little bit of sugar, it actually seems more balanced on your palate. And we will see that when we get to the Riesling. That is like a great example of how acid and sugar actually balance each other out. So let's see, what's the max years? That's a great question. What is the maximum years to cellar a rosé? I think rosés will last longer than the vintage they come out on. So usually you'll see a rosé the year after it is made. So the 2018 vintage would come out in 2019 and 2019 and 2020. And that's usually the most current for rosé, but a lot of the time rosés will last longer than that. I would say up to 5 years, especially depending on the closure and how it's made. In Oregon, I think rosés will last a long time just because the acid retention in Oregon wines is really prevalent, and that helps in a wine age. And so, yes, I think that our rosés will last at least 5 years, if not longer. And they are under screw cap, which helps ageability for wines. And so that helps as well. Let's see. All right, let's go to the next wine. So our next wine is our first ever club Chardonnay. So our club exclusive Chardonnay. I just want to take a second to check out that amazing label. I am such a fan of this label. It is by far my favorite, and I think our marketing team just did such a fabulous job. And our club exclusive wines have this beautiful label. It is a rendition of one of our estate, an artist rendition of one of our estate vineyards, Corral Creek, and I just think it is flashy. All right, so let's try it. or I'll pour it and talk a little bit about it. So this is our first ever club Chardonnay, and for you, those of you joining, I'm Katie. I'm the winemaker from Chehalem Winery, and we're in my backyard, and it's beautiful out, so it's awesome. Our first ever club Chardonnay. So Chardonnay in Oregon is becoming a hot commodity, which it's about time, because Chardonnay is delicious. For all of you guys that don't know Chardonnay or think that you don't love Chardonnay, come drink Oregon Chardonnay. You will enjoy it. But this Chardonnay, so we make now 3 Chardonnays at Chehalem. We have our Enox, which is 100% stainless steel. We have our Reserve Chardonnay that is 100% oak fermented. And then when we were asked to make a Chardonnay club exclusive, I thought it would be a good idea to do kind of in between. Yeah, I'll tell you about the club in just a second. And so the in between, the club Chardonnay this year is a 50% stainless steel and 50% oak fermentation in neutral barrels. So the point was, when you have a stainless steel Chardonnay, it keeps a lot more of the minerality, a lot more of the like stone fruit characteristics. The acid is really prevalent. So if you think you don't like Chardonnay, go find a stainless steel Chardonnay and try it, and then your mind might be blown. But so I was hoping to balance both of those in this. This Chardonnay is from one of our other estate vineyards, Stoller Estate. And personally, I think that site in general just makes amazing Chardonnays. If you haven't tried Stoller Chardonnays, they are delicious. So there's a lot of Chardonnays you can try in our portfolio if you are interested. About the club, I guess I don't know what you would like to know, but basically we have 2 shipments a year of our Chehalem wines. A lot of them are DTC only, so wines that you can only get from the tasting room, which makes it pretty fun and exciting to get these shipments, because we have about 3 SKUs that go out nationally, and then the rest of them are tasting and sold in our tasting room only, and online if you want to get them. So I think there also are other benefits of the wine club. You can come to events for free. You get to bring friends and do all the fun things. Hi, Anna. Good to see you in Canada. Okay, so let's taste our club Chardonnay. So in 2018, the Chardonnays really kept a lot of their green apple acid. So when you taste this, there is a lot of acid that is prevalent on the palate, but what the point of having some neutral oak to go into it is that when the palate finishes, you can feel that roundness come out. So it's a bit more complex, a bit bigger, but it still has that zing that the stainless steel Chardonnay has. So that is what we were going for. I feel so bad. A lot of my friends are from Utah, and I so wish that I could send things to Utah. I feel like I either need to start some sort of bootleg system to get wine to Utah, but hopefully one day Utah will figure out and we'll get all the wines. But no, you cannot ship wine to Utah still. This is horrible. Aromatically, this has nice white flowers, some lemon lime. It's really easy drinking. It's fresh. Yeah, it's beautiful. So do you guys have any questions about the Chardonnay? All right, let's see. All right, hi Maggie from Alaska. Good to see that you've joined. Hello. I'm not sure how much the Chardonnay is. I think it's about, I would probably say $30. We do ship to Arizona. I'm not sure if we can buy it in Canada. I think there is some Chehalem in Canada. Great. All right, let's go to our last wine of this fabulous summer night. So for our last wine, oh, hold on. All right, Mom. Hi, Mom. How long does Chardonnay last in the cellar? Let's see. Chardonnay will last for many years, especially ones from Oregon and that have great acid, which this one does. So this should last at least 10 years. It will change over that time, but it definitely will last that long. So people that think that whites don't last a long time, they definitely do, and they're beautiful. So if you have or want to buy a couple bottles of white wine and keep them in your cellar to just see the difference after a few years, that would be a fun trial for you to do. I think what I've always tried to tell people, especially when I started getting into this, was just to enjoy wine, not to be scared of it, not to be scared if you don't like something, to just empower your own palate and to find what you like, because there's a lot of wine out there. And especially even at Chehalem, we can make we make a bunch of different things that we will find what you like in our portfolio. What makes for a buttery Chardonnay is a bit more oak. It can new oak or full malolactic fermentation, which, if you don't know what that is, it is the second fermentation in a wine's life. So most reds go through it, but only some whites do. So Chardonnay, it's a decision tactic. It gives a more richness, a bigger feel. It also can add a little bit more butteriness to it, just a little more viscosity to the palate. And so a lot of our Chardonnays, actually, even our reserve, only go through partial ML to keep the brightness, but also give a little bit of that crispness. So let's see. All right, let's go on to the Riesling. This is our last wine we will be tasting today. This is our 2018 Corral Creek Riesling. Chehalem has been around for about 30 years, which I feel so lucky to be a part of Chehalem's story. And in the beginning, it definitely has been a powerhouse in the white wine realm. So this is a great tasting to be able to taste some of the aromatic whites that we have to offer. Harry Peterson Nedry back in the day really thought that white wine was going to do just as well in Oregon, and he was totally right. So the Riesling game is strong, and let's try it. So this is from our Corral Creek vineyard again. All right. I think my cousin in Alaska has this wine, so I know at least one person's being able to taste it with me. So with Rieslings, there is a huge preconception out there that all Rieslings are sweet, which it's not true all the time. Riesling is a really fun varietal to work with because it is more, in my mind, a winemaker's grape than a viticulture or vineyard grape. It definitely shows the terroir of a place, but you have so many aspects to be able to kind of tweak a Riesling with, whether or not you leave more sweetness, whether or not you leave it dry, whether you play along with it. So in general, Riesling as a varietal is extremely, extremely acidic, like beyond anything that you would really want to drink more than one bottle of. So personally, I like having more than one glass of wine. So because of that, I like what we do at Chehalem is balance the acid with just a little bit of sugar. So just a tiny bit. Again, when there's just a little bit of sugar in a wine, it does not mean it is sweet at all. Hi Erin from San Francisco. It's so good to see you. Rieslings do not go through ML fermentation like Chardonnays. So a Riesling in general, you want to keep that really bright acid, and then instead of going through ML because you don't want it to be creamy, that's how and why you choose to do a little bit of sugar with it to mitigate the acid but also make it like beautiful. So when we're doing trials at Chehalem, it actually is during harvest. So once the fermentation starts to finish, or all the sugar is almost eaten by all the yeast and it's all gone, we really start tasting almost like 2 or 3 times a day to see where we want to crash the tank, which basically means to stop the fermentation. Because when you can leave just a little natural sugar in the wine, it is just balanced really nicely. So our Riesling is dry, but there is a little bit of residual sugar in it, only to mitigate the acid. So at Corral Creek, consistently, we get a lot of white flour. There is a little bit of that petrol note that is just beautiful, or very reminiscent of a Riesling. I love the petrol note. And also when you try very old Rieslings, the petrol really sticks out and is really nice. Riesling is one of the whites. I know we talked about the Chardonnay being ageable for a long time. Rieslings will age forever. The acid is something that will help wines age for years and years and years to come. And it is so delicious down the road. I would definitely recommend aging Rieslings for as long as you can, because that's when they are just amazing. How many different Rieslings do we make, and what are the differences? So in the past, we've made a lot of different Rieslings, and from some of the stuff that I've actually talked about, where Riesling is just assumed to be sweet, it's a very hard thing to sell. And so we've cut back on how many we make, and currently we are focusing on just one single estate Riesling because it's our best site. We love the Riesling that's come from there. It's 30-year-old vines. It's just delicious. So yeah, hi Scott from Utah. Thanks for joining in. So yeah, I get on the palate, obviously, like I was talking about, I get a lot of zippiness to it, but is balanced really well with the little bit of sugar that we leave into the wine. So I don't know, any questions on Riesling in general? I know it's a really misunderstood varietal in general. Miles, we're almost done, Vicky. You'll be able to see Miles in just a second. Hi, neighbor Kate. Thanks for joining in. We do still make a Gruner Veltliner as well. So that's also a delicious Alsatian wine that we have in Chehalem's portfolio. Pairings. Riesling pairs well with a ton of stuff, especially hot food. If you like spicy Thai, it is the best pairing ever for it. So hi, Christina in California. It's good to see you guys. Yes, it pairs fabulously with everything. Let me see. I just got a question. Last year we did get a concrete egg. It's a different type of fermentation vessel, and we did use it and used it again, and we actually put it in the Gruner. So the Gruner Veltliner went into the egg as a layer of the wine. So the Gruner now has barrel fermentation, the egg, and stainless steel fermentation. That's Manny, my dog. No. All right, so let's see. Any other questions about the wines? Manny, come here. Come here. My dog Manny has been by my side for a while, but Manny, come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come say hi. Up. Up. Come here. No, this way. Oh. For all of you that want to see Miles, well, you can see Manny first. Hi, Manny. Anyway. So any questions about the wines? And before I close up, thank you for loving the Gruner. Oh, thanks. Manny is pretty cute. All right. Let's see. All right. I think I'm just going to wrap it up. That was really fun, and weird talking to myself, but really fun to see you guys and talk to you and taste some wines for you all. So maybe as I close up, I'll bring Miles into the picture since he's had a few cameo requests. Miles? Christian, can you bring Miles? Maybe. I think he's listening, so he might bring him. Let's see. So there's a few things that I want to finish up with. If you do want to try these wines, there is a 48-hour bundle basically on any social media that you guys can purchase them from or directly from our tasting room. So please do if you would like to. Also, if tomorrow our culinary director, Becca Richards, will be cooking an Easter meal. I can't believe it's Easter. I don't know how you guys feel, but I barely know the days, and I'm very excited that today is Friday. Every Friday, it's fabulous and amazing. And tomorrow, on Saturday, Becca Richards will be cooking an Easter meal at 5 o'clock on Stoller's Instagram. So please join her. She's going to be cooking a lamb, and it's going to be paired with the Stoller Dundee Hills Pinot Noir. Our website is Chehalem Wines. Come here, Miles. ChehalemWines.com. So if you would like to order anything, let us know. And this is Miles. This is my son. He's about 7 months old, and yeah, thanks for tuning in with us. Hi. Thank you. Have a good